Morning, everyone. So this is kind of a mid-tournament. Not even mid. It's only 2 rounds in. Tournament update. I know some people wanted to hear about how the actual list was doing. I don't take pictures during my battle reports, so I'm not going to have pictures. I'm going to be able to show you what list I played against and talk about it, and then maybe have some thoughts on the list after a couple games with it. So for those who just need a refresher, this is the list I'm taking: Big Spider King, Pock Warlord on foot, Shamanism Master, Adeptathon, some Gits, some Chaff, some Trolls, Splatters, Idols. Idol BSB is probably a big thing to point out. It is 8-man team events, so there is a pairing process. I am the pairer for my team. I am the captain. Which I would say my teams build up. We have a typical Conrad style empire. We have an aggro ogres. We have a weird vermin swarm lift that I don't really get that much. Just kind of does vermin swarm stuff. Undying Dynasty is an aggro double herald warriors, shooty ID, and then aggro scourge, courtesan demons. And so the reason I want to go through this is because we've been having a little trouble in pairings, especially if teams have a lot of shooting or div magic, because the demons don't want to see it. The warriors are not as, but I mean, they still don't want to because you lose a herald, it kind of sucks. The ogres don't really want to see it too much because of the rocks, and I don't want to see it because I have 3 monsters and 1 is my BSB, and that'll come back to for commentary. So I have played actually 4 games with this list: 2 in the Conrad League and 2 in the tournament. Conrad League, I got a big win, and I took a 0. The 0 game, I was kind of salty about it because the guy did not know the rules very well, and I had to type to him, and I probably could have got a couple points, but I got pissed and was like, it's over. I needed a big win to get first in the league anyway, and I wasn't going to get it at that point. And what was I going to say about that? And I don't care about the league past that. I mean, I would have liked to get first, but Thomas is probably going to get first. And then I don't even know if I'm going to stay in the league after the eliminations are done. That being said, that's not the point. The point is I went in and failed. That was annoying because I felt like this is going to sound cocky. I felt like I just played a lot better. Like, I felt like he didn't do anything. And then I just went in and died. Anyway, if I made like a big overrun, I had like an 8 Swift overrun, and if I made it, I think I beat him. But I knew that if I fail it, I was going to be like, basically my big spider was going to get into a vermin demon with a buff off on myself and nothing to help the vermin demon. And I had like 6 wounds left. And he had already taken 1. So instead, he didn't. He got to run away with the vermin demon and shoot the shit out of my spider with cannons and then div my BSB off the board, which is a problem with the div mage BSB, which sucks because we both got to change our list for the new update. And I don't think he tailored it to me because I didn't have a BSB idol before. And we've seen each other's list play because we were just watching. And so, he didn't have a vermin demon before. So he didn't have a big div mage. And then I change and get, 2 idols and a spider, which I had 2 idols before. But 2 idols, non-BSB, is not as bad for his div as this list is. And so he went into div when he changed his list, which is fine. He just copied Rince's list. I think I would have been better versus old list, is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's whatever. It's the Conrad League. No one gives a fuck. And I won the other one. And then I played 2 games in the tournament. And we played the Black Bulls first. And I played this Sylvan Elf list. I rated it a yellow. I think he rated it like an orange. I don't think it's an orange for him. I think it's a yellow at best. Obviously, I have magic and things that can happen. But again, a div master who's mobile is probably the biggest word, because like the fact that he can move 10 inches a turn, he's a single model, you just can't get away from it. And he's also like a treeman. Lots of archers, 14 poison guys. Did I go first in this match? I think. Did I go first? I'm thinking. He had the last turn. So I did. I at least had to go first. Not that it really helped in the end. Some big things. I don't know. It was weird. I guess my spider hero charged the treeman in the rear. I got a debuff off, but I did 3 wounds, but I took like 3 back. He actually didn't tree whack me. He just did normal attacks and did 3, which is that's what. And I took 3 from like shooting, like poison archers or something. And I think what happened after that was the dragon charged me, and the rider killed me before the because I would have got the swing. He needed to do 3 wounds with his rider, which is not that bad. He has 4 strength 6. He needs 3s and 4s because he had a great weapon. Basically, I was hoping that my spider was going to at least get to attack and have a chance, because at least I could maybe put some wounds on the dragon. But my spider just died, which is also another. That's a whole matchup thing we'll talk about. And then what else happened? I mean, he didn't have a BSB. He took a couple checks, and he failed some and he made some. He made like a leadership 9 check turn 1, or like, which is fine because it's leadership 9. But like his mage would have died like turn 1, like just from a panic check. He took, a leadership 8 on archers turn 1, and that would have died if they failed. But then they ended up failing some later on in the game, or failing a rally check. He had an unfortunate thing where he charged a dragon and those blade dancers at my bus and got destroyed. Like, he lost by like 5 the first round of combat and held with the dragon. And the dragon almost died, didn't kill my warlord in combat. I got probably lucky. I got lucky that the stomp didn't do a win to me. And then I killed the dragon. So that was nice. Yeah, it was a weird game. It was a 10. I got a 12. Because I got the scenario at the very end. Again, having the fucking BSB be idle, I had to hide behind a hill, and then I got hit with a div spell and took 3 wounds, and then I probably made a bad play with him. I don't know. I was either like expose him to div or just try to hold a treeman for a turn, and I got tree whacked and died, and I didn't kill him back. And that treeman was annoying as fuck the rest of the game. I didn't like some of the moves I made. Of course, it's never just the game of just dice. I did stuff I didn't like. I wasn't aggressive enough with my dragon one turn, my bus, to kind of like, when my spider got stuck in, I could have got my bus like to say, okay, I'm here. You have to get out of the way, as opposed to, I don't know. I was too scared of the blade dance. I didn't like really think about what the blade dancers did. And I'm like, okay, they're gonna get shit on by my bus, because if they go to the attack one, there's only 7 of them, and my warlord can kill like 4. And if they go any of the defensive ones, I still have 6 static res, or like 5. So that was my bad. I didn't move up enough. I mean, my trolls fought his rangers, which is a close to even fight, but I won in it in the end. And 1 ranger lived, which caused, half points was probably a point of battle there. So there's a lot of little points on both our sides that we either gained or lost. And I basically had to make a leadership 9 and leadership 8 check unrerollable to get the scenario. So we'll say that was a rough one, to say the least. And then I just played Frozen Lions, and so I played Peter Ritter. So Peter, I've met him before in ETC. He's won an ETC with Germany. It's German. He's playing as a ringer for this team. He's playing Conrad's Empire. Good player, solid player. He's the type of guy that you basically just, at least for Team Germany, he'll take red matchups all day. He'll just whatever, just give me whatever, and I'm gonna get you as many points as I can. He's not as flashy as Thomas is. And when I say flashy, I mean he might not make these super obscure plays, but playing him is hard because he doesn't really make a ton of like super bad plays either. Like, you don't go be like that, he got a 0 because of it. So this was already a hard list, I thought. I mean, he rated it orange too, and I rated it orange. So it was probably closer to a yellow. I still think it's worse for me because because of the shooting. I mean, he has, sure, if he can't commit as hard maybe because I can just beat him back, but like if we both sit there, I think he's better in the long run because he just has so much shooting. Um, yeah, I pretty much brought an idol out into the open turn 2 to try to make something happen, and it just died. Well, it took a lot of shooting. It almost lived. It was like down to like a couple shots. Like the cannon did 2, and then it was down. What killed it? The silver shots did 2 potentially. I don't know. He had a lot of shots at it and killed it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I should have never brought it out. I also had to go second, which sucked. But I got to hide everything out of cannon range, cannon sight. The idol died. Happens. I had a 9 rerollable charge. I didn't use Wog to charge some great swords with my trolls. I failed it. At this point, he's basically concaved around the objective, or at least it's King of the Hill, so around his objective, and he's nowhere near mine. And so I'm like, I really just can't go in anymore. I pretty much can jockey with magic. I can move up a little bit and try to maybe at least force him to chaff me or sack a unit to keep me off the hill or the river or the wall, because I had trolls on a hill and I had some units nearby. My idle BSB was hiding behind the hill. My spider had an interesting road, so I was debating my last spell. So you guys can think about what spells you would take against this list, but I took +1/+1, reroll to hit. I took reroll to hit and smite. I took +1/+1. I took Totemic Summon, obviously, Swarm of Insects, obviously, and I actually took Frenzy. And that was, Thomas and I were talking, and Thomas suggested Frenzy, and it actually almost worked out amazingly. So turn 1, I moved my spider up, and I frenzy some huntsmen who aren't near any BSB or general, and they have to charge, and they fail. They need a 6, and which isn't a huge. It sucks because I have to kill them in my own turn, but they can't flee the charge. They also can't shoot me, so that was really nice. It does kind of. I mean, it would have been obviously better if they charge me and I kill him in my turn, because then I get to do something with my spider. So that actually dragged me down a turn. And my reform after I killed him wasn't very good. I let the stank get out of my line of sight. But I end up so my spider actually takes a lot of shots, needing 6s and 6s, and doesn't take damage. Probably the big quote unquote moment, the only really big moment we had was my spider is like behind his army almost, and but the steam tank can rear charge me, but that's fine. I have my BSB. I have only 1 wound taken. I frenzy another huntsman unit. It has to charge my spider, and it makes it. So he puts the stank in too because he can't shoot me anyway. He probably would have just shot me if he could, which, yeah. And he put the great swords right in front of me, so like I was boxed in. So there's something to be said that maybe I should have not gone that way, but I was like, I need to do something, man. And I had 7 wounds. So the stank does 2d3 strength 7 for 3 wounds on average. Does his 3. Fucking kills me with the breath weapon. 2d6, needing 4 6s. And he got all 4 on 6 hits. I was like, motherfucker. And I did do a lot of wounds because I did 3 poisons back with my Shieldbreaker guy. But even if I guess my point is there's a good chance that I probably die. I think I die in that situation no matter what, eventually. But I think I kill the steam tank with me, because I think the greatswords are going to finish me, and I kill the huntsman unit. And I end up only getting half the steam tank, and the huntsman survives. So, to me, And then turn 5, I think I did a stupid play with my BSB that got him half wounded and almost fucking killed. There's a lot of little points at the end here, too, where, like, I threw 2 fanatics at thank God my BSB made the 4-up save to live. So that was a big points for him. He could have got. But, he shot a full idol with, like, no... the cannon didn't even fucking wound me because it needs 5s because it's the steam tank cannon. I had killed the other one. Like, I almost died to, like, a bunch of strength 4 shots. And I was just like, holy shit, get out of here with this. I should have hit him. There was no reason to be where he was. And actually being on the flank might have got me some more points. But basically turn 5, I had like maybe a weird scenario where I could charge. It was too complex, in my opinion, to reliably calculate because of the counter charges. Like, his night bus was sitting on the objective, and I had like a goblin unit that could charge him, but I also had like trolls and my lord charging out of a unit. And I was like, there was only 4 trolls, and it would have had the clip, and I was like, I have no idea if like I am anywhere near close enough to this to make this happen. I mean, he had 30. Yeah, he had too many knights. I would have never broken the steadfast. Is the problem. I needed the goblins in, and then he had counter charges, and if he counter charges me, it's just bad. So I ended up going for a little bit safer route and just killing the Chaff Inquisitor. I should have probably been a little more aggressive with my bus, but also one turn he chaffed it and I didn't charge it, and I threw 2 fanatics through him, and I only killed 4, so he got to chaff me again, and I'm like, ugh. It's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, it's not that unlucky. It just sucks where it's like, shit, I only killed 2, and then he gets to chaff again for free, and I have to charge this time because there's nothing I can do to really get them reliably. So it was one of those like excitingly boring games where it's like not a lot happened. It was really kind of cagey and like, but it was like at least it felt a little better because there were some moves in some moments. This shit happens. So there. I know it's just me talking, but that's what you get. Like I said, I don't really take pictures of my games. Back to my list though, and people have asked me if I like the list right now, and I think it's an unfair time to assess most of it. I can tell you things I think I like and don't like, but I do not like right now the idle BSB. I think he's very risky. I think losing your BSB in Orc sucks. Period. I didn't lose my BSB a lot with my Goblin one. Obviously, he was a lot safer. But just having a reroll is nice. I mean, like, I guess one problem is, right, one of the only thing that panics my bus, my 35 Orcs, is my BSB dying. So when my BSB dies, and I have to take a leadership 9, or I panic, which I did do in the BS game, which might have hurt, like, you're like, oh shit, that sucks. You know what I mean? So that's just, it's like when he dies, it's like, oh shit, now I have unrerollable 9, which isn't good enough. You basically lose an idol because you can't do anything with him. He's like, it's cool that he's not even that much more resilient because he just fucking can die. He's a very clear target when like people have div or cannons if they can get him. And so now you're stuck hiding him, which can be annoying, which limits where your army can go. It's just actually very obnoxious to have that model. I'd rather just be like a free 370 point model I can do things with. And then I had the whole video argument, last video, where I talked about why you really don't need 18 inches since your general is only 12. And so there's probably a world where that could be like a goblin, orc chief BSB and just run in the bus and just have your bus be actually strong and then go kill people that way. Because then you'll be within 12 of your general all the time, blah, blah, blah. What else don't I like? I don't hate shamanism, but it doesn't feel as good. I mean, it had the same issue as... it has the same issue as a lot of mages do. Because even playing the Empire list, Conrad's Empire list, like, he has just a solo Cosmo. And he maybe should have took the spell that hits everybody in a unit and tried to cast on my orcs more, though it's not that great. It just felt like a lot of turns, all he was getting off was like the stupid +1 to hit. And maybe that's because I didn't have as many targets early on for it, and I was stopped the one good spell. Like, if you only have one good spell versus the enemy, it always feels lackluster. And I would say I don't like the Thom Adept. I wish he was Witchcraft. I think if I could just type a different word which I can because I'm the TO, but I'm not going to, I would type this word to witchcraft because I don't love Hand of Heaven that much. It's fine, but I'm not like in love with the spell. I'm kind of tired of using it. Smite's very good. It's a great combat buff. And then we have the other two, which I don't use breath much with this list. And because it's also like kind of high to cast. It's an 8 for 18-inch range and an 8. It's a 3 dicer, which is fine. Basically, I think Witchcraft would be better, mainly because I think no shooting, Raven's Wing, and Glamour, and the attribute are way more impactful than Hand of Heaven and Smite and Breath. So if you don't even count Breath or the other spell, it's basically Hand of Heaven and Smite. And if you want to say Smite's very good, well, so is Glamour. For orcs, Glamour's very good. It's usually like +1 to hit. So I think they're both very close to each other in usability of spell. I will say Smite's probably a little better. More all around better. It can be used with like fanatics and stuff like that. But like I think Witchcraft just has more utility spells that are more impactful, right? Raven's Winging, an Idol, or a Spider. Or imagine if my turn could be, Swarm, especially armies that aren't good against Swarm of Insects or are good against Swarm of Insects. It's like I Totemetic Summon, and then I don't know, it would be nice to have a Raven's Wing, I think. Raven's Wing or the no-shoot spell. Like just being able to no-shoot the main bus of like either the cannon and to slow things down. It's a 2 dice. No shoot is like a great 2 dice spell, and Glamour is a great buff. And to be honest, Shaman doesn't come with a lot of good buffs anyway. So you get into combat, like you can kind of go more. You can go Totemic Summon, +1/+1 Hereditary, Break the Spirit, or something. Like I don't know. I do feel like I want more spells, but I feel like if he was an adept of Witchcraft, it'd be better. Though I could almost get away with just a Shamanism Master with Heirloom at this point. I'm not super impressed by the guy. Like he doesn't feel like he makes my magic that much better. It feels like if I just had Heirloom and had all the spells on my Master Mage, it would be pretty good too. But we've also talked about Double Master, which is another interesting thing as well. So yeah, I haven't loved the Adept that much. The Orc bus has been fine. The Goblins without... I mean, I guess they're scary, but they are annoying. They have chances. I don't know. We'll see how the tournament goes. We'll see how the rest of the tournament goes. Again, if I had Raven's Wing, it'd be a little more interesting just because I could do some more moves with them. But I don't, so I can't. Trolls are pretty good. It just feels like in this list, I mean, people talk about my splatter as like missing a lot, but I'm like, they're 280 points. They sit there, they throw some rocks, sometimes they do some wounds. The potential's high, they'll kill some things here and there, they don't die much. Maybe if they die, it takes people coming after them. Like, for 280, I can't really complain about them. I think it's a matchup thing. I think 280 points gets you what? Almost gets you a couple good things. Could get you, like, Nashers and stuff, and so... It's interesting from that perspective. It's always interesting from that perspective, right? If you say, okay, my splatters did 0 damage or only hit once or misfired, you could sit there and say, well, that could have been some Nashers and would have just been better. And I don't know. I honestly don't know. I might try 3 it's just a matchup thing. It's like when you face those big... I mean, people were hiding from them. So it impacts movement indirectly too. I think that's unfair to say too, right? If you look at my list and I don't have splatters, you can bring your Vermin Demon out and just be like, whatever. What am I going to kill it with? Swarm of Insects? But if I have 2 or 3 splatters, you kind of be like, oh shit, this could kill me. I need to stand back. Same for dragons and stuff. So I think there's a bit, or like cowboys. Yeah, I never got to shoot the Empire Cowboys until the last turn. Well, part of that is because he hit him in the unit. Because if he runs out of the unit and I shoot him with a catapult and kill him, it's going to suck for him, right? So to me, I think there's a lot of indirect. Like, you could say that the cannon only did 2 wounds to an idol. Does it suck? It didn't suck. I had to hide everything behind buildings and stuff. So I think the same thing kind of goes for splatters. You have to go for the for matchup sake. You just take them to be annoying. But I do feel like the idle BSB has really hindered this particular list. It just feels weird. It just feels weird. Like, yeah, I don't like it. I'm not playing Dark Elves. I was making a Dark Elf list. Where's my list? Is this my list? No, this is a different list. So, where's my actual list? So this is my actual list I'm playing. So, how many points is it gonna be? Let's just see. Oh, I only don't have a lot of. Oh my god, I'm running out of points. So this is the crappy part, right? The Goblin King just eats so much of your hero points is the big problem. He's just, what can you? He's strong. Don't get me wrong, he's a strong piece, but he eats like all your hero points. So you're kind of in this weird world of like, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, I don't want this, but now, I mean, even when I drop that, I can't add anything. If I drop this, I'm looking at, the problem is I only have 4 spells. So I mean, there's a world where you can't take a binding scroll, right? Where you just gotta take, because you're not gonna have the points to do this. And then what? I don't even know. Do I even have enough points to make this guy? Ooh, it's close, right? Let's give him a shield. Shield. Parry versus Great Weapon. Probably parry is better. Oh, I have points left. I have more. Well, no, I didn't do something right. What? That's wrong. What? It wasn't. It's not doing my items. That's weird. Alright. I don't know. Something's wrong with new recruit. Oh, Jesus. Oh, now, no. Where's my list? Okay, it's not working for some reason. That's weird. Oh, now it is? Just do my list. Sorry, guys. I like this stuff. This is a little weird. Feral, right? Shield, I mean, it's the naked ass BSB. I mean, I guess you could go Banner and Chance. Oh, why doesn't that work? It's so weird. Is that actually 200? Yeah, it's about 200. Yeah, I don't know why this is fucking up so much. Unless my computer just is not happy with me using new recruit while recording. I guess you could do this, and then you could add like 2 Banner and Chance, like 2 Aether icons, or a Legion Standard, an extra Legion Standard. And then you'd have, yeah, I don't know why Banner and Chance aren't working. Let's just assume we put something worth 20 points. And then maybe you put a crush attack on somebody. And then you're stuck with 60. You have like 50 points left. I don't even know. I don't know. Put 50 points in somewhere. Right? You don't even have like a good 50-point thing to put in. I guess you could take 7 trolls. If you don't take either icons. Like, this isn't bad. Actually, this is not bad. More catapults, a little more fire. You lose magic. I don't even know if this is any good, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's hard because of the character points. We've already talked about things we want to try, things we want to do differently. Do we want to try trolls? I like trolls. I'm curious how the meta maybe shifts around trolls, but more so, they also have they run the problem of like getting too far ahead of your army, you know, I mean, I guess people don't realize this, but I mean, sometimes you can just get trolls to where they overrun, and if they're not fighting, they're not within, like, it's not easy to keep them in general's range sometimes. And I have this problem too, where like you deploy perfectly, and you're like, well, my trolls are here, and exactly 12 inches away is my general. And then the minute one of them charges something, you're like, oh, I'm never going to be in general's range again. This is not good. Stupidity sucks. Stupidity sucks because like think of any other think of another unit that like I don't know, rat ogres or some ogre unit. Once you get behind the enemy, you're like gold, right? They're probably not going to panic you. Maybe your leadership's 8 or something. But fucking trolls just like boom, you're just like, oh, I'm screwed because I can't do anything on leadership 4. That's the big problem. Stupidity is such a shit rule. It sucks because it's like, sure, if you're a rerollable 9 or something, you're gonna make it a lot of the time, and maybe there's a moment where you miss it. But this is why, like, it's kind of like you talk about why Garen Trolls is good in like maybe an aggro army. That's why, because you get very far ahead of your leadership sometimes, especially if you're gonna war cry, run away, and then you're like, and you have to plan for it. So it does kind of suck in that case. So I can see why, like, it's popular, but maybe I don't know. I mean, I guess it's fine. I don't know. Orcs are in an interesting spot right now. I think a lot of people are trying stuff. I don't think there's a ton of like amazing people playing them, which gives them a bad rap. I think they're better than their scores are because I just think a lot of sucky people lose with them. I do think that Witch Doctor list is doing good, the one with the spider, but I don't think he's on a good team. I think his team's pretty far down, so I'm not going to crown that. I don't think it's a good list, but he might be. I mean, again, it's an 8-man pairing system. If you give me no shooting, if you give me, there's lists out there that I'm a lot better against than fucking Div Magic. So that's my commentary on my list now. I got 3 more games with it, at least 3 or 4 more games with it. Let's see what it does. Hopefully, maybe I can pair myself into a better matchup that's not like hiding my BSB the whole game. But I don't like Thom, and I don't like the BSB right now. I wish it was different, but it takes too much to change the list, right? How can I can't just easily do it. It's hard to get too, damn, this guy's also like, I guess that's like the answer, right? This guy being a BSB and then turning those, like, I guess in a world, this guy could be a BSB and this guy could be a master if you really wanted. Maybe he could be an Orc BSB even. There's a pretty good Orc BSB build, but I don't know. It gets in the whole world of bunkers. It's a lot of stuff. But anyway, that's my commentary on this. See you after the next games.